to Healing Numbers 22 live numerology reading. Today we're with Lisa. I got somebody coming in here. And Lisa was originally from Switzerland. She now resides in Vermont, Utah. And her questions are about housing, love, finances, what direction life is taking her, and what is her soul purpose. So I'm going to introduce the readers. We have David Woodbridge, who is an astronumerologist, Craelynn Christensen, who is a tarot card reader, and I'm an intuitive numerologist. And we're hopefully waiting for Dorothy, who is the astrologer, and Adriana, who is also an intuitive numerologist. So at the end of this, the last 15-20 minutes, I want to open it up to the people who are listening, who are watching. It's not mandatory. It's if you want. You can bring in your questions, your comments, use your own intuition. Let's play with this and see what you're seeing too to help Lisa. So Craelynn always draws us a card to get the energy flowing. And this morning, whoops, I gotta, yeah. Craelynn?
Yeah, it's still loading, I think. There it is.
There we go.
Okay.
This morning's card is the Emperor. It's a trump card, and it's the 4. This card is full of fire energy. He is the principle of personal power and leadership. Basically, the symbol, he's a pioneer, the leader, the builder, the doer, the visionary. He does a lot of stuff, but he's very meticulous about what he does. Let me see. Sorry, I'm having a moment here.
That's all right, Craelynn. Take your time.
I always look at him as being the person or the individual that can obviously make decisions, but he also is concerned about making problems be resolved with a win-win scenario. He is concerned about others, even though he's a very dynamic and strong personality. He likes to travel. He is, like the PowerPoint. You could kind of look at him as being a president or in our time. With him for this reading, what I think is it's reflecting the fact that the things that you want to do are definitely available, and you have the discernment in order to choose the correct path for yourself. So with that fire energy, you could make some very strong, decisive decisions that you may be on the fence about now, but we'll probably be able to find the balance, because I look at him as being balanced. So
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. Well, that makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it, David?
It does.
It does to me too.
It does. One thing I want to say, and I just recently learned this, and I think this is extremely cool. If a name carries the first name carries 9 letters, it means it has a very bold personality.
Yes.
That goes with that card that you just was just drawn. Yeah, I just learned it too, and I thought that was very, very cool.
That is very cool. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. David, I'm going to turn it over to you because you like to talk about core energy, the energy that makes her who she is.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I'll jump in.
Okay.
And,
So, shall we say, yes, Lisa, welcome.
welcome.
So as the astronumerologist, what I do is I kind of jump between astrology and numerology and make some connections there, which kind of reinforces what the message is to a certain degree. So when I'm going to start in astrology right now, if that's okay. And what I found, you have a lot of Earth.
Oh, yes. Oh, I know pretty much everything.
Okay, great. So your sun is in Taurus in the 8th house, your moon is in Taurus in the 9th
Yep.
house, and you're a Virgo rising, right?
Yep.
Very, very earthy. So one with that, I would assume somewhat grounded, all that earth, right? So you have a tendency to be grounded. Now, your rulership of Virgo is Mercury, and Mercury is all about communication. And Mercury is in Aries in the 8th house. I don't know how much you're aware of all this. Okay, which is a good thing. It basically is telling me you analyze people rather quickly. You can make quick decisions, maybe sometimes a little too quick. I don't know. Only you do.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. Got it. Okay, good. And some of this stuff we work through, right? I mean, we've all got something and we work through it. That's kind of the purpose of this. So with this, and when you're thinking in terms of Earth, and your security is usually with all this Taurus that you have is something of importance to you, I would assume. Okay, so now let's jump over to numerology. Okay, so when I'm looking, so with astrology, we look at your sun, your moon, your rising, and numerology, which equates to a degree. We look at your life path. We're going to look at your expression, your soul urge, and kind of take a look there. Now, what I found so interesting after that, so being very earth oriented, your life path is a 2911 too. Okay. So that is very interesting to me because your life path, actually that 2911, there's a master number there. And I don't know if, I assume you've learned about master numbers to a certain degree. Okay. So a little quick asterisk on master numbers. Master numbers it's a calling, okay? You are called to be more illuminated. You are called to this to be more spiritual, to develop your intuition, okay? There's the whole 11. Now, you're working on a higher spiritual plane. 11s have a tendency to be very good at what they do. And they are usually, very on because whether they realize it or not, at times before they even develop it, they have, they can kind of see through a lot of that, and kind of make steps toward that. It's very much like being guided, and you do have a much stronger connection with spirit. Okay. It is usually something that as you mature is when you walk into it. So if you're not an 11, you're in a 2, right? Because 1 and 1 is 2. Okay. Now with that 2, we're talking about working well with groups, usually. Okay. So that's kind of where that goes. Now, the 29 aspect, every number, we can use a lot of numbers to come up with 11, but yours is a 29. And here's the thing about a 29. On a spiritual level, it's telling me you're going to be tested to a certain degree. I assume, so I take it you have been.
I don't think there has been ever a time in my life where I wasn't tested.
Gotcha. Well, here you go. There's confirmation, right? So that's really what it's coming down to, and you have been given what you need to meet those tests, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we're looking at this, it's very important. That's really 2911. It has really strong spiritual energy with it. Okay. So we're kind of putting some of this together, and I don't want to totally blow the whole story just yet, but everything is played out in trials for you. So you go through periods of times. Okay, there you go. Okay.
Oh my God, you named it. It's like one trial after the other.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. There is a reason for that.
Tell me.
Okay. Well, again, we are all here to learn and ascend. Okay. And you are being given lessons to work your way up because you actually, okay, and I'm going to jump to astrology in just a sec, but basically you're here to learn and you're here to utilize these gifts to help others. Okay. Yes. Now back to astrology, because I know I want to really spin your head around. Okay. Your Saturn has had 14 years underneath. In other words, you've been working on yourself for the last at least 14 years, if not longer. Okay.
Yep.
Well, now it's heading into the 7th house, which means it's time to work with other people. So
Yes.
all these trials, all of this, okay. So now the you know the stage curtain is open and you're on. Okay, that's what this is
Wow.
about. So now, and Saturn moves rather slowly. You're going to have quite a few years in doing this. But what I'm saying to you is now your perspective needs to be with the groups and helping others. You've kind of done the work on yourself, it seems, right?
Oh, yes. Oh,
It's
yes.
very important, and here I don't mean to give you a head spin, but I'm going to go back to numerology for just a second. That
Yeah.
2911 has some asterisks with it because of how it's made up, okay?
Yes.
And it's very important that you, and I believe you do, by the way, but I'm just letting you know
Yeah.
this is kind of one of the things to think about. You always have to take responsibility for yourself and your actions. It's
Yes.
never a good idea to, if and I'm not saying you're doing this, but it comes out in what I've read and reserved here, never ever blame anyone else, okay?
Yes.
This is all
Oh,
about
yeah.
responsibility of self,
Yeah.
what you say, what you do, it's all about, so it's important, everything is energy, right? So it's important that before you say something, before you do something, you think in terms of, and I think you do this,
Oh, yeah. I learned that. Yeah.
the outcome, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
okay. So let's go down to your expression, which is a 23-5, which
Okay.
is a lot of fun, actually, based on, you know, which is very interesting. And it likes adventure. It also likes freedom. Okay.
Yep.
So therein lies some interesting things to think about. There is basically, you know, I know you're very good with people. I know you like to have fun people around you, right? And on the same time, you know, when you have certain energies that don't blend with yours, you might be a little quick to kind of to break that off just a little bit at times, not always. It just depends on the situation. Okay. So it's important to know that. It's also important because there are some people coming into your life, I think, here at some point. And part of when people come into your life, it could be for many reasons. It could be for romantic purposes. It can also mean they're coming in to help you and give you lessons. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So, excuse me, it's very important that you kind of keep yourself open
Yes.
to understanding what's coming in. Okay.
Exactly.
Because, and again, I'm head spinning here, but you have a lot of astrology and transits right now that you are in a very important point in transformation. You are being asked, and you're going to be challenged here because all those trials you have, you're going to be challenged, okay? And you're being asked to kind of step on the stage and start using all these gifts to help others, all right?
Yes.
So some of these people that come in may not go with your fun button, but they might go with your fun, you know, your learning button. Let's put it that way. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, I understand that. There's people that come in that are definitely for the learning button, and I've experienced that already, and I'm very well aware of it, but also realized that to stay open for the other ones that have the gifts.
Exactly.
Like you mentioned that, because that's very important. I haven't been that open to that, and now I've opened up to that, and it's really nice to receive also the gifts, not just to give, but also to receive.
Very nice. Okay, I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to get off my stage because other people love to talk. Your cycle, now you know about numerology, so your pinnacle and your cycle, I think we're around your last for those, we're around the age of 53. Your pinnacle is a 8. Okay, so you have, that's a very strong number for business. It's a very strong number for finances. It's also you're refining yourself. Okay, so that's come in, and that's something that is going to be, that's going to be with you the rest of your life. Okay.
Yes.
Your cycle, like mine, next year, your cycle is a 22. Okay.
Exactly.
So now let's go back to this astrology. You got this 22 sitting here, which is the master builder. Okay.
Yes.
And you've got all this earth. Well, earth is about solid foundations, and you're being asked to build something to help others. So that's, so this is where the astrology chart and the numerology chart match. And this is where you can tell very easily how they support one another in what you're trying to do. So your path is intuitive, spiritual, very earthy. You're here to build, and you're here to help others. So just to give you an idea about your first question, to me, that goes with your life path. So
Thank you.
That was helpful.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, that was fun, David. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. That was very good. Craelynn, what is, oh, there we go.
Okay, I have the first card I pulled is the Queen or the Princess of Cups. So I'm shifting into emotion. This is a mastery card. The thing about her is that to get to the master level, she's worked through a lot of difficult emotions, like jealousy, manipulation, seduction, and possessiveness. And she's learned to let those things go because they haven't served her in the past. The princess has the capability of offering emotional longevity and loyalty to others in an objective, non-possessive way. She's emotionally secure. The crystals on here represent being able to evaluate or see things clearly, so that you can see what's going on emotionally within yourself and others, but you can look at it objectively to determine what the underlying reasons are so that they can be dealt with. Let's see. Basically, the entire symbol represents the capacity to state feelings objectively and realistically with a firm conviction not to abandon oneself emotionally. So, being the master card, this is something that you've worked toward in your life. And I would say that at this point in time, when you're working with others or when you're going to be stepping out on this new area of reflection, that you will be able to discern what's going on emotionally without being sucked down into the potentially negative feelings. And sometimes even the positive feelings, that you'll be able to stay more neutral to explain things to people.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How
Oh, it's so
everything flows together. It really does. Energy is
so-
energy.
it's amazing. Everything is right dead on.
Yeah. I'm going to talk a little bit. We also can do the life path. We can calculate it in a little different way. It's always 11 too, but what I get is a 47, and the 47 is the magician that's stuck in the mud. You know, the tarot card, the magician, he has all the tools, right? They're all there for you. It's a matter of you getting your feet out of that mud and letting it happen. You're very much on a spiritual journey here. You've come here spiritually to give a message, to set that goal, that big goal that you have a dream. There's a big dream and it's in your heart. You feel it, and it's to be a service to other people, is to help other people grow.
Yes.
Your communication skills are wonderful. And you need to use those. You also have a lot of you experience life through your senses.
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to experience the journey. You have to go for it. If you don't get to the goal, which sometimes I think irritates you, because you set goals and you set big goals, right? And you're always striving for them. But it's that experience to get to. Now you have a lot of knowings. They come to you very, very, and you've got to learn to trust those. Don't overanalyze them, because the 5 is analytical and it has a tendency to overanalyze things.
Oh,
so
that's where that comes in. Okay.
Yeah, you let your gut guide you. You let those knowings guide you. Do you meditate a lot? Yeah, very, very important, especially after the age of 53. So you're in your last pentacle, your last cycle. You're working into what we call the maturity number. That's a 7. That's spirituality. It does take a while. It does take the first epicycle, the first 9 years of getting through to start to really balance that energy.
Okay.
Okay, so just keep going, keep moving. It's not going to
Patience.
stop, right? we can't make it stop. So just keep going and keep reaching out to one of us so that we can guide you and help you to understand it better on a yearly basis or whatever.
Yes.
This year you're in a 5-year. There's a lot of changes going on. You are moving, and it's working with your expression number. How you're expressing things.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of surprises this year. And I suspect in July they started.
That could be.
Things started to ramp up.
I think in July I finally found a home.
Yeah.
Because I've been without a home for 4.5 years now.
Oh.
I've been a nomad, and what David said, the whole trials and everything, it was really intense. And then I looked at it, and it started with when I started with the year number 1. It started when I became a nomad, when I was forced to be a nomad. It wasn't my choice. It started with year number 1, and now I'm in year number 5. And finally the change is happening, and I just moved into a home.
Okay.
Oh, well, yay, hooray.
And that was quite the trial and tribulates with all the COVID situation. Not having a home during COVID was a very, very interesting experience.
I bet.
Most definitely, because the also the 8 Pentacle can bring in those challenges, right? Because what goes around comes around, so you're facing all those things. And that 22-4 is trying very hard to really ground you.
Yes.
Next year is 6. What is 6?
Yeah.
6 is our most balanced number that we work with.
Oh,
Okay. It's about relationships, it's about home, it's about work. There's you got to get through this 5, which made the big changes. You're still working on some of that. And then next year it's starting to feel right now. We start in October, we start to feel the next year's energy. So it's starting to feel like that 6 is really coming in, and you're feeling grounded, because home is very important to you.
It's
That
essential.
was a hard 4 years.
That was the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. But I expanded the most I ever expanded, because I would have never expanded the way I did and grown the way I did have I not gone through that.
I admire you for looking at it that way. That's wonderful. But that's your 11 too. That's all that spiritual energy around you. You knew you had to go through that in order to get to where you are today.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it's full speed ahead, right?
Oh, yes. Now it's full speed ahead. Finally. The magician is getting out of the mud now. Like, I like that.
There you go.
Because I always felt like I had all these tools, but I couldn't use them. I was stuck somewhere, and I couldn't figure out where was I stuck. And when you said that about the magician, that makes perfect sense.
Yes. Good. Well, start using those tools, because the magic is there.
Yeah.
Craelynn.
Well, I'm hitting emotions again. And this is an 8, which I really was surprised, because I had just pulled this card when 8 was mentioned. This card I call a stepping stone card. It's energy and I also look at these kind of cards as being a release card. So this is indicating that you are releasing or shifting from being an overgiver, that potentially you have had difficulty setting boundaries, that you're a yes person, and it's very draining and tiring and exhausting to deal with this card. You could tell the background is mucky, like she was talking about the mud. Well, this is an emotionally muddy card. But the good news is, because it's a stepping stone, it's indicating to me that it's time, or you have just let go of this aspect in your life. and that you're learning it and beginning to master setting boundaries and limits for yourself to protect yourself. And that's going to be very necessary as you move forward, and really start stepping out and working with more people.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Right on target.
Interesting.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
how many cards are you holding? 72 cards and you pick an 8.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, it blows my mind. That's why I really enjoy this so much, is that every time it seems like I just put the cards out and, tell universe, well, what's next? And I pull a card and it just kind of works. It blows me away.
It's really cool.
It is cool. Adriana?
Good morning. Sorry for being late, everybody.
Morning.
Lisa, when I looked at your chart, I saw things, and that doesn't happen often. I normally feel for a person, and I don't really see anything. But yours was actually the first chart where, like, visually, I don't know, I just felt your spirit. I don't even remember, your birthday is in April. I felt earth sign. That's what I saw. I saw trees, like foresty, but like the biggest leafy greens, just very well taken care of. So I was like sitting, trying to figure out why I was seeing this, where I was getting this from. And I just have a feeling based on your chart that you are somebody who deeply desires or deeply appreciates the beautiful things in the world. I feel like you'll say things that catch your attention and other people are like, huh, I never saw it in that way. Or, huh, I never even thought to even consider that. Or, wow, you know what? That aspect is pretty cool. So I feel like you have this unique perspective of the world, almost like rosy-eyed lenses. And sometimes it's this feeling of like inspiration, and you just want to shout it out. Like if you could climb to the top of a mountain and just scream like, "This is beautiful!" I feel like you would, and like
yes. I would. You got it right on.
But I feel like that's where you get your sense of knowing, your sense of creativity, your sense of inspiration, just in the little things that you notice in life, and your sense of creativity. Now, the thing about that is, I feel that sometimes you can be a little scatterbrained. And I don't even think it's scatterbrained. I think you're almost hyper-focused in a thing. Like you get so passionate about something, like, oh my gosh, I've got to tell everybody. And you have such high expectations because of this 11-2 energy. You're in this 22-4 cycle where you want to pour out to others on like the highest level. You care deeply about like the highest good. Like if you're just going to do a food drive, your goal is not to feed 2 people. You want to feed the entire block and then tell everybody, go to the next block, we have extra sandwiches left over. You want to do the greatest good. So with this inspiration, this need to want to kind of shout out from your lungs that the world is beautiful, there are things to be grateful for all the time, I feel that sometimes it can be overwhelming and you get down on yourself. Maybe it's that you're inspired by something and you really want to see this thing through, but so many other things are flowing through, and wherever you thought you were going to land, you're all the way on Mars. You're way over here and you're looking back and you get a bit discouraged. Like, how did I get over here? Like, was I so distracted? So that, I guess that would be the feeling that I felt on top of the visual that I saw. So I guess that feeling is, it's not really frustration, because I don't really feel that it's frustration. It can be frustrating. It's more just like, how do I ground this? How do I grasp it and make it make sense for me? Without
kind of
cutting
like
off.
bring them together. and bring them
Yeah,
together.
without cutting off all the different things that you're inspired by and that make you.
I think I just got why you saw the tree, because the tree has all these branches and can go in goes in all these different directions,
but
it's
rooted
still
and
all
grounded.
one.
Yep. That's a good connection right there. I
That's
wasn't
very
even
good. Very good.
I
Yeah.
think that's what that was.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel that you have this high sense of creativity.
Mhm.
And sometimes that can feel a bit scattered. It can look scattered to other people.
Yes.
And sometimes the appearance of a thing to other people can make you look at it differently. So like if you're into lipstick, but you're also into bionic chemistry and you're telling people about these two interests, they're going to look at you like,
I know.
do you want to be a scientist or a makeup artist? Which one? Pick
Yeah.
one. And you're like, I want to be a scientific makeup artist. Like,
I want to be a scientific human inspiration.
You know, like, so it can, the appearance of something, maybe that's where, because I also have this feeling that, sorry, I'm kind of scattered. You had me feeling things and seeing things.
I'm so glad I did.
But I also have this feeling that you go through bouts of insecurity, whether it's with your capabilities or whether it's with your physical appearance. I don't know why physical appearance stood out to me, but I don't know. I just wrote it down and I just go with
it. Basically with the physical appearance, when I grew up, I mean the fairy, I think there's a fairy tale, The Ugly Duckling, that turns into a swan. That's basically my life. How I was treated when I was a child. I was treated as you're ugly, you're I mean, just all in that realm. And so I believed I was that.
Yeah.
Even though I have now turned into a swan, but I was totally not aware of that I had turned into a swan till later in my life.
Yeah. Welcome to the club. We are.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why the physical appearance, it was like I never saw myself as beautiful. And now I'm in that phase where I'm like, oh, that's right. I am beautiful.
I have a question, Lisa. What do you do for work?
I love how she laughs.
How many hours do you have?
Okay. You're the master. What is it? The jack of all trade, master of none. Is that it? You like a lot?
I started out as a fiber arts and culinary arts teacher in Switzerland. That's my degree. When I came to the US said, we don't acknowledge your degree. So I had to start by ground zero again to reinvent myself. And then I reinvented myself as an artist. Then I was an artist. And then when I moved from the East Coast into the Southwest, that didn't translate to the Southwest. Then I became an organic farmer and just on and on. So I kind of am whatever.
You're a chameleon.
Exactly. Yeah. And now it's time for what David said and all of you said. It's time to share all that chameleon energy or all that jack of all trades energy and knowledge that I have. I mean, I don't like the expression jack of all trades, master of none, because it's not really true, because I have so much knowledge with that I now can share because of that. So I'm a master of being a chameleon or acquiring all these different things. And now it's time to step on the stage and share all of that. So this is my next incarnation, or however we want to call this, is going to be sharing that in a spiritual way with all my gifts. I also have writing skills, speaking skills. I mean, you name it. It's like you said, you guys said, I have all these gifts, magician, and they're all like the tree. I really like the tree. It's like that groundedness with all the branches and side branches and things. And there are all these things in there, all these fruits that are hanging on the tree if it's a fruit tree. And now it's time to to harvest that stuff and bring it to the humanity in whichever form. I think it's going to be in video form. I don't know yet, or it feels like it has to have a personal connection.
That's really cool. You know what's really big around here, or starting to get big, is the restaurants that are taking the food from the garden and they're cooking it right in the restaurant.
Yes.
That's really, really, I don't know if you guys do that out there, but it's huge around here.
Yes. Yeah. We do that too. Yeah.
Kind of cold in the winter, but
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Craelynn.
Okay, last card for today is a 4, and it is spiritual completion. So this to me is indicating that, okay, you're done with the past. Spiritually, the word ascended comes into mind, but you've risen above the past. You've completed that energy with the help of spirit, and that you're ready to move forward in a new direction.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so this is just kind of like a little confirmation here that spirit is supporting you and acknowledging that you've done what you need to do. So now you're ready and prepared to move forward.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, your feet are coming out of the mud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. Yes. Nice. Adriana?
You know how I think about the number 4. So numbers 1 through 9, but I'm just gonna go to 5. So number 1, when I think about just like the progression of numbers, number 1 is just you, an individual, right? Number 2 is you meet your match, whether it's yourself and whether it's yourself or another person. You meet your match, you come together, there's this union. Number 3, you create this thing, whether it's a project, a child, whatever. Number 3 is that baby. Number 4 is the adolescent. I'm going through life, Number 5, you are an adult, but it's like early 20s adult. Like now is my time to explore adulthood and really see what life is about and make my own decisions for myself. So I'm just going to stop at 5. I could go to the rest of them. But when Craelynn pulled the 4 card, and earlier you were saying you started this journey of being like a nomad in like a 1 personal year. So you had those 4 progressive years, and now you're in this 5 year where it's like you're in your early 20s again, this stage of recreation, but not childlike. You're going out into the world feeling hopefully fully capable, and like I'm ready to see what's out there for me. So I don't know, that was just my thought on the progression of numbers.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, and it makes perfect sense. Yes.
Yeah, they all progress. They all progress. Yeah. You have such magnificent energy.
Yes.
But
thank you.
You've had to work at it. A master number has to master the master number. And that takes a lot of trials and tribulations.
Yes.
But the funny thing is, a lot of times when I see people with a lot of master number like yourself, that you deep down know that you need to go through these things in order to get to where you need to go. And it happens later in life for sure. It's definitely a spiritual path you are on.
Yeah, somebody once said it's a purification of the vessel so the divinity can come in.
Oh, that's really good. That's very good. Yeah, that's very good.
And I always felt like that. I always felt like I had to clean out, and people would always say, but Lisa, you've already done so much work. Why would you still have to? I said, I don't know. It just felt like it had to keep going and going and going. And I knew eventually, I just didn't know when it would get to that point, but it was just cleaning out. That's what it felt like.
When Sue said you have magnificent energy, what came to my mind was you have purifying energy. Like I really feel calm sitting here talking to you as if I'm getting the reading.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually interesting that you say that, because I wanted a definition for what my energy does, because I know people like what you just said, Adriana. I have people that call me and they say, I need a Lisa fix. And I never knew what, and I would just talk normal with them. I wouldn't do anything. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I asked a person who can see, I said, what exactly does my energy do? And now I know. And so what she explained to me is that my energy aligns your body and helps it remember its alignment. So all the organs, the cells, and everything aligns to its purpose, its original or place. And I
Mhm.
think that's why then people start feeling calm, because their body starts to align. She said it's kind of like a spiritual massage that you're
Mhm.
getting.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Shannon, you want to bring anything in? You're on mute.
I don't. I'm just really enjoying being here. I missed you all.
Aw.
And I'm up for learning and connecting with people. And I would agree that this energy has been lovely. So
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Shannon's in New Mexico, so she's got up early too.
Yeah.
In the same time zone.
you're in Utah, right?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
David, do you have anything else to say?
I do, yeah. Just to kind of look at your foundation in the numerology aspect, Lisa, your soul urge I have is a 22-4. So there you have that master number again. Okay. And that talks to obviously the grounding and the earth that we've talked about. Now, as I always do, okay, look at astrology for a minute. Now, what I have for you from a transit, I have your Uranus is conjunct your natal midheaven. And what that's telling me is you potentially have a change of work coming around, or something within the work you're doing is changing. So that's something to kind of lean into, because this is something that is going to help you step up a little bit further to where you're trying to go.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also see, quite frankly, a lot of travel and different relationships coming in for you. I mean, right now, 2023, really October, February of next year, April, May, June, even July, a lot of potential for new people coming into your life. And these are people, some might be romantic, some might be, this might be some of these people that are here to teach you a few things. So just keep your heart and your eyes open.
Yes.
And kind of see what kind of comes your way. But that was very distinct in what I was looking at here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I will
David,
yes.
David's saying that were you done, David? I'm sorry.
I am, yes. Go right
Okay,
ahead.
I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off.
No worries.
David's saying that he sees new people coming into your life. One of my questions, well, two of my questions, one question, another was just an observation that I made in your chart. The observation was that when I looked at your chart, it seemed that you may like to appear as if you're completely capable of something. And that turns into you not really leaning on other people when you are in need of support. And maybe that's because you are such a supportive person for other people that it's like, how am I going to lean on these people when they're leaning on me? Like, where do I go? And because of that, my question was, have you found your finisher yet? Meaning, I feel that you start a lot of different things. I feel that you're inspired by a lot of different things. Because you're inspired, you're constantly moving. You know, you're moving from this to that to that. This is still back here. Have you found that person who will loop back here and be like, let me finish this off?
Nope,
And that's what I think is something in line with what David was saying.
Yes.
If it is that you are to meet new people and new people are to come into your life, I feel that that's something you should be on the lookout for, or
Yes.
maybe trying to create space for that in your life.
Yeah, I always felt like that this path that I'm on, yes, I've been on it on my own so far because of the purification and all the knowledge and everything, but I feel like it's not a path that will continue on my own.
Mhm.
There is, I feel like there's a partner that is going to come in, and that's a romantic partner, but I also feel like there's a community coming in
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
to bring this all together, because I can't do this all by myself. This is and it's not supposed to be all done by myself, because
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like we're shifting into, somebody said it once really good, into a circle energy where we all together, yes, there might be a leader in that, but we're all coming together, bringing all our gifts and shine with them. And together we make these movements.
Mm.
Yeah. I would agree with that. That's 22.
Mhm.
And that leadership ability and coming in with what you have and your abilities, spiritual abilities, that type of thing. It's funny, I look at the letters too, Lisa, although I just did Elizabeth. So when I looked at E, which is constructive freedom, it does say that you might start a lot, but you might abandon some things along the way. So just to let Adriana know that that was actually in there.
And it is
Yeah.
true. It is true. I have started so many projects, and it wasn't even, I guess you could call it abandonment, but then huge life events happened that
Yeah.
prevented me from completing them.
Yeah.
And I got so frustrated, and I'm like, why is it always that no matter what I start and I get very close to the finish line, then a major life event happens that prevents everything from going forward. And then it shifts me into a whole new direction.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's at 11 too, isn't it?
It
And
is.
and you have to remember 22 is made up of two 11s.
Yeah.
That's true too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
The 22-4 is Mother Earth, right? Loves the ground. So
Yes.
your organic gardening is, you feel very close to Mother Earth.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And the maturity number is the 7. So this is specializing. This is directing you to specialize in something.
Exactly.
And learn it to the fullest. You know, 7s
Mhm.
have a tendency to have PhDs and things, and is self-taught a lot of times.
Yes. It's definitely self-taught. Definitely
Yeah.
self-taught. Yes.
But because
Right.
of that, I think your biggest challenge is to find that community.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Sue, Sue, David, Craelynn, do you guys have 7 energy?
Oh, I
I
do.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I find myself, especially with numerology, this is like the hardest thing to stay disciplined in for no other reason other than I'm curious in everything.
Yeah.
So I'm researching something, I'm learning on this self-taught journey, and then I'm over here researching Sophocles, and now I'm researching how hip-hop songs are talking about psychology, and then I'm going to take it over here and research the chlorophyll in the grass. But the whole thing started with me researching number 1. So I'm all over the place with how I'm researching things.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's part of the specialization. Like that in itself can be frustrating because you don't know what it is specifically that you're specializing in. We have these big branch words like I'm a numerologist, I'm a doctor. There are so many different things that could fall under that umbrella. So you don't know what specifically your specialization will be. So all of those different things that you're grabbing onto, it can seem frustrating and like, why am I not doing this? Why am I not finishing this? Why is life getting in the way? Maybe that is part of your process of just, I'm supposed to be touching these things, learning. And while you're building this community, you have other people that are helping to bring these other things into fruition, but you're still free to move and explore your thoughts and your interests as they are. Not saying that you need to have like a whole enterprise behind you and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you touched it well in that sense that what I've over time started to realize, they're all connected. Even though they're not connected, they're all
Right.
connected, because they're all connected in that they all give me knowledge, experience, so I can teach life. I mean, that's what I feel like. These are all experiences, knowledge, and in the end, I always said, I don't have a degree on a paper except the first one. But since then, I haven't gotten another degree on a paper, but because I went to the school of life, and I have many, many, many degrees in the school of life.
Yeah, so true. 5 and 7 are very curious energies,
Yeah.
and they can flitter here and there. So you're so correct, Adrian. If you could see my piles, well, I want to check this out. I want to do this. I want to do that. Oh my Lord. Sometimes I have to tell myself, sit down, Sue, and stop, just focus, because it all works together. It does. But you're right. Those are all your tools. Up from from birth to where you are now, those are all your tools. And you have a lot of tools in your toolbox that you're going to be able to take out and share with other people.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's important, because a lot of people, especially like during COVID, I feel like that's when the word niche became an annoying word. Because everybody's like, find your niche, find your niche, find your niche. And it's all, if you look at videos, it's all this, I don't know if practical is the word I'm looking for, but it's all this, it's not life knowledge. It's just how to have a side hustle, how to achieve, how to stay productive. Like, it's not life. And I feel that you have been made, and I feel like there is a community of other people around, whether it's around you or around the world. I feel that there are people coming up that are just not so heavy in the sell socks to make $20 today, more so life, like how to just actually live life in a fulfilled manner. And it's not like one of those psychology books. It's like real life. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Because the teacher, the real teacher, the one that we want to learn from, is the one that experienced it, not the one that read it in a book.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a chance that you can open your home up a little bit to groups, to have a couple of your friends to come and just talk spiritually?
Right now, I just have a studio, so it's not conducive, but I will find, I used to have that. I used to have groups that will come to my home and do that. This one is not conducive, but I will find something. I'm in the process of organizing groups that I can get together with. I did one test drive on that one with this community to have a group, and it was highly successful. So
yeah, I bet it was. I bet it
What about
was.
something like this, like a Zoom meeting or something?
Exactly. That's what it was. I was told to do like Zoom meetings, something like that. And that's the next thing. I just took a workshop in how to do a podcast, if that would be, but I think it's visual more. It's more visual. That is my media than, I mean, the words are important too, but I feel like the visual of seeing each other is as important as just somebody listening.
Yeah.
Because everybody has intuition and knowings, and they see, and so when it comes together and everybody gets to talk and share in a safe place, because you know, a lot of times what we do is kind of woo-woo, right? A lot of people don't want us around. It's getting better. I mean, it's getting a lot better than it was when we were younger, right, David?
Craelynn? Very much so.
True.
Yeah. When you start your group, Lisa, let me know. I would love to be part of it. I would love to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have any questions you have for us? Have we answered?
So, David, when you said new people and traveling, I think you mentioned that the last thing. Can you elaborate on the traveling a little bit?
Yeah, in your, let me just pull up here. Okay. Yeah, all of a sudden, and a lot of this is the latter part of this year into next year. It just talks a little bit about you have some transits that are Jupiter, and for one, is very big going through, over your planets right now, and over your
Mhm.
different houses. And that is causing, it's a lot about that freedom, and Jupiter is about expansion. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's talking here a lot, just over and over again, about the potential for travel. It doesn't give a whole lot of specifics, but I can just tell you, Jupiter is very harmonious with Venus, and those are two are connecting for you, and there's just travel and relationships keeps coming up and up and up. So in 2024, I'm sorry, it doesn't get more specific than that, but you have the potential for travel and relationship.
Okay.
Relationships comes in very strong as well.
Yes.
So I would just say keep yourself open. You never know. You might have a trip could be on your way,
Yeah. I sometimes I feel like that the traveling is coming in with sharing the message that I have.
Oh,
could be.
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
That's
Very
very good.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a permanent home?
Yes.
Mhm.
That's what I was feeling when David was bringing up travel and relationships. I
mean,
I
Number
felt
6.
that with you entering into that 6 personal year,
Mhm.
and it's an 8 universal year next year.
Mhm.
I felt when David was saying that something around the home is what you'll be traveling
Mhm.
for. I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe a big move, but home came to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like because I just moved in, but this is a temporary, this is a stepping stone. It feels very much like a stepping stone to me because it doesn't allow me to do like groups and all that, what I really want to do. And I always felt
Hmm.
like, and maybe you guys, I don't know if there's anything in there or a card can say more about this. I always felt like that um, when my partner, the romantic partner, steps in, that home physically and literally um, is going to show up, that the home will be with him. And that's why this is a temporary home
Mhm.
at this point.
Well,
That
six energy can bring in a relationship, a
Yeah.
lover
Mhm.
or a partner.
Absolutely.
April next year is a one personal month for new beginnings. So I suspect something's going to be moving around during that time in April.
Okay.
And David mentioned expansion and Jupiter having this energy of expansion.
Yeah.
You talking about the studio that you're in, you don't have the space, and I really feel like it's something around the home.
Mhm.
But I definitely feel like just opening up your heart
Yeah.
will open up that physical space for you.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm just really, home is ringing for me, like a bigger space, more
Yes,
open,
it has to be because I don't even know how exactly to describe this, but whatever is in me
Mhm.
needs a lot of space.
Mhm.
Trust,
Yeah.
I
Well,
know.
I'll just jump in and say a couple things because I know we're getting ready here to end. Lisa, Spirit is going to support you in this. None of this is by
Right.
accident. Okay.
Exactly.
So remember, you're stepping into this, you are getting ready to make some transformations. I would even say October, November, your psychic energy is going to be incredibly up. So just, I guess we all want the right answer, you want it right in front of you, just let it happen. Is basically what I'm going to say to you. It all looks good. Transformation, people coming into your life. I see travel, which could be a new home. It could be, okay, so you're going to figure out a way, one way or another, to make this happen. And
Yes.
you're given the tools to do so. So I'll leave it there with you. But I think you're in a really positive
Okay.
way.
So you just
Okay.
confirmed what I told myself. I said, the next 6 months, I'm just going to allow myself to be.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
Good. Yes.
And see what happens and digest the last 4.5 years, digest everything,
Mhm.
let it percolate, let it come up, let it come out, and just keep track of it. But don't force myself to, oh, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I
Right.
gotta do
Yes, let that Mercury and Aries go for a bit. Okay, just be for a bit, and let
Yes.
things come to you, and you have the intelligence and the discernment to know what's right. So,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Also get out and shake hands and meet people and step
Yes.
outside of the box a little bit, go to places you might not normally go, and
Yeah.
just put yourself out there, but just let it happen.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So cool.
Perfect.
So
Thank
cool.
you.
Does anybody have any last minute thoughts? I know I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I agree with Adriana. I'm like Zen here. It's like, okay. It's wonderful. I'm gonna call you more often. I'm gonna get a reading from you.
Are you gonna call me and say I need a Lisa fix?
I do, because it's so true. I listen to you. Your words are so good, and they're so meaningful. And it's just so peaceful and calm. Your
Wow.
path is definitely spiritual counseling of some sort.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you all for being so open and sharing with me how you experienced with me, because I wasn't expecting that. But of course, spirit works that way, because I
Right.
just learned this definition, what my energy does, but I haven't gotten the confirmation or the feedback from people back. And you just confirmed everything that I've just been told. And it's wonderful to have this. So thank you very much.
You're
And
more
all your
than
knowledge
welcome.
that you shared with me.
You're more than welcome.
Yes.
Our next group is October 7th. We're going to get back on track. Lisa, thank you for being patient with us about not being able to meet on the 16th.
That was perfect.
And-
I was moving then.
Oh, good. See,
Oh,
it
good.
all works out, doesn't
It all works out. When
Yeah,
it was canceled,
absolutely.
I'm like, oh, good.
I love it. Now you're in a place and you were at peace, and you shared all that kindness and love with us, and it's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we're going to be reading for one of my very dear friends, Jo. She lives in Maine, and her questions are, what should take priority for me over the winter months, and what's a good month to put my house on the market or to move? And you're all going to tell her she can't move, because okay, we're all in agreement of that, right? Okay. Yes, so we'll all go in the light, and it's important that we raise everybody else's vibrations. Please do something kind for somebody, and we'll see everybody next Saturday. Lisa, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you,
Bye,
everybody.
Shannon.